Welcome to another edition of Islanders Insider. I'm Stephen King, and we're coming to you from the locker room today, here from the campus of Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. We're going to talk some Islanders hoops with head coaches Willis Wilson of the men's program and Coach Royce Chadwick of Islanders women's basketball. We also have a special feature on the women's basketball team, in particular, Islanders sophomore Cassie Jones. But right now, we'll start things off talking men's hoops with the head coach, Willis Wilson. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing good. 2 wins this past week. Always good when you're coming off of 2 wins in the past week. A convincing road victory over Abilene Christian, and then the all-out slugfest this past weekend against number 2 Sam Houston State. A game that was seen, matter of fact, right here on Root Sports Southwest. Now, you have to be extremely pleased that we seem to be rising to another level at the right time of the year.
Well, this time of year, basketball takes a little bit different form. Everybody knows everybody, whether you've played somebody multiple times or whether you've only played them one time this late in the season, through scouting and through just following the standings and so forth. You have a pretty good feel for who your opponents are. And so it really boils down to making basketball plays, freeing up kids to not think so much and just allowing their talent in the system to really take its effect. And I thought for the most part, the defense is the one thing that's really stood out in those last 2 wins.
No doubt. Now, first off, let me ask you about ACU. ACU coming in, they were a heralded three-point shooting club, hitting over Southern Conference high 42% from the three-point line. Talking about defense, how did we combat their long-range effectiveness?
Well, I just thought we really did a good job of locating shooters early in the possession, in defensive transition, really getting up, forcing them to put the ball on the floor, not giving them any clean looks. And just sometimes it becomes a momentum thing where guys really get confident on that side of the basketball, defending that point of attack, and the offense loses a little bit of confidence. And I thought that our defense was just really dialed in on our defense assignments, on our rotations, and did just a really, really terrific job of communicating. And defense, sometimes your mouth can cover distance your feet can't cover. And that's been a big part of what we tried to do, something that we've tried to work on all season long, and we're really beginning to make progress, and our guys are really beginning to see the benefit from it.
Secondly, the game everybody is still buzzing about, the 2-point win over Sam Houston State during the homecoming weekend for the Island University. First off, it was a great night with a great crowd at the American Bank Center, the biggest of the season.
Well, that game was a barroom brawl. Going in, we kind of felt that way, and when you go back and look at the footage, we had a lot of guys with blood on their jerseys and some hard falls, and just a really, really hard-fought challenge game by both teams. And wasn't the prettiest of basketball games, but if you were a fan in the stands watching that game, it really, really was action-packed and hard-fought. And you got to give both teams credit. Neither team was going to yield. And so it really just boiled down to playing the clock out and who was in position to be able to win at the end. We were really fortunate. We had some things going in our direction. The one area probably where we came up a little bit short, where we could have maybe created some distance for ourselves, was making those free throws. And that's been a little bit of an Achilles for us all year.
Well, like I said, there was a big crowd that got to witness some great performances. One particular, of course, your senior John Jordan. Here's his stat line: 19 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, and he threw in a block for good measure. He rose up to the challenge of the moment, didn't he?
He really did, and John was due to have a good game against Sam Houston State. That's been a team that he's struggled a little bit, and he's never played poorly, but he's never played his best, and he saved his best for the right time. He really controlled that game. When you look at the final score, 61-59, for a guy to have those kind of numbers, it really reflects how much he dominated the game.
I mentioned earlier, as have you, it was a slugfest, no doubt. Now, the battle waged underneath between Rashawn Thomas and 6'11" Michael Holifield of Sam Houston State. Truthfully, we could sell pay-per-view tickets for that. Those two guys could be in Vegas selling that fight, because that is an absolute war being waged in the paint.
Well, and not just Holyfield, but the supporting cast that they really tried to throw at Rashawn. I thought Rashawn was incredibly impressive, keeping his poise, as you touched on. Very, very physical. Very, very physical contest. Those guys went at it back and forth all night long. When Holyfield got in foul trouble, they ran other guys at him. Rashawn was able to get them in foul trouble, but he also picked up a little bit of foul trouble himself. But The one thing that Rashawn does, and I hope he really values himself, because he garners so much attention from the opposition. They're forced to collapse on him so much that it frees some other guys up to do the work. And the one thing Rashawn didn't do as well as he had been doing over the last 7-8 games, shoot free throws. He's really come a long way in that area. And I think the one thing that he's got to be able to do better is when he gets guys in foul trouble, he's really got to make them pay from the charity stripe.
Yeah, he is. When he's going. He's so tough. Now, how uplifting was the Emmanuel Toney breakaway slam dunk in the first half? Now, made a defensive play to get the steal, went the length of the floor, rose up for the two-handed slam, got fouled from behind for the flagrant, got 2 additional free throws, which he made. This was a signature moment possibly for the season.
Well, it was a big time play, and a play that the fans will remember for a long time. Since that game, I've heard a lot of people talk about that play, and it really stands out because of the time and the moment in the game. Gave us a lead, really gave us momentum, and in a lot of ways, I think it was a kind of a signature moment, signature play, if you will, just in terms of the kind of style of basketball that we've got to play to be successful. We've got to grind, and we've got to punch, and we've got to take hits. And he landed a double combination with the steal and with the score. Gets knocked down on the floor and gets up off the floor and makes those free throws. And that, in my opinion, is the kind of basketball that the Islanders have to play going forward from here out.
Well, your squad is the only team in the Southern Conference to knock off both Stephen F. Austin and Sam Houston State. Do you consider yourself to be the team that nobody wants to face on their side of the bracket in the Southern Conference tournament?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, we still got a few basketball games to play. I'm just pleased that we've kind of locked ourselves in, no worse than 4th. We've got a chance to move up. And if we could do that, that would be terrific. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to beat good teams again.
Up next, Houston Baptist and Abilene Christian. Now, we talked earlier about Abilene Christian, what we did to win that game. If we put a repeat performance together there, we hopefully will be successful. But it was Houston Baptist that ultimately upset us at their place in Houston in a game that we just didn't seem to be able to find traction. You know, couldn't put that run together at the end of the game. What are we looking to do different this time around?
Well, as their athletic director, Steve Maniaci, pointed out after that game, that was a game that they had circled on the calendar for a long time. And you could tell that they were up for that basketball game. It was a very intense environment, very loud, very boisterous and exciting. We got to come out punching. We can't take our foot off the gas. We had moments where we had opportunities to really extend our lead, and we just didn't take advantage of opportunities because we took our foot off the gas. We've got to have more of a fighter mentality against Houston Baptist. They were a team that ran 3 big guys at Rashawn Thomas, similar to what we saw against Sam Houston State. 3 big guys that their whole goal was to rough him up and get him out of sorts, and they had a little bit of success doing that. And again, it's a situation where he's got to make those guys pay from the charity stripe.
Well, it is going to be a big weekend coming up for us, the final 2 games of the regular season at home. What's the luxury of that for you guys? Not in particular just playing in front of your fans, but eating at home, sleeping at home, all of those things that come with it.
Well, I really hope that it's an opportunity that we can just slowly kind of build our stamina back. I think that's one of the things. We've been able to be rested for games, but we really haven't been able to build our stamina back. And I think the important thing at this time of year is that you've got to have stamina, especially when you're going into a conference tournament where you got to play 3 games back to back to back if you're going to win this thing.
Coach, it's going to be an exciting week. Hopefully an exciting couple weeks for the Islander men. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Willis Wilson joining us here once again in the locker room. When we come back, we have a special feature focusing on Islander women's basketball player Cassie Jones. That's coming up in a moment right here on Islanders Insider.
The Countdown to Katy, March 11th through 15th at the Merrill Center. Go to Ticketmaster.com or Southland School ticket offices.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we have a very special feature focusing on Islander women's basketball player Cassie Jones.
Over recent weeks, sophomore Cassie Jones has emerged as one of the top offensive weapons for the team, including a career-high 28 points in the Islanders' homecoming win against Sam Houston State.
I think exactly that. It is who she is. She is a charismatic young lady, a tremendous basketball player. Her whole goal from last July when we started lifting weights was, I'm going to be playing my best basketball of my career come March. That was her goal. She's achieved her goal. Now it's our opportunity to go make some things happen. She's hitting her stride at exactly the right time, which is what you want your entire team to do. So we're very excited for Cassie to be sitting where she's sitting for our team.
It's amazing. I mean, I haven't seen anybody like her size, and they can shoot like her. So it's pretty cool, and we're roommates. So it's kind of fun, when we're both doing good, it's really amazing. I've just been working hard every day, getting some extra shots up after practice and on our day offs, just working hard so that I can be a big part of this team and help us out.
Early in the year, Shea Weaver and Olivia Foudy were the main offensive contributors for the team, but with Jones's emergence, she has given them multiple threats that have allowed them to expand their potential.
I think if you want to progress as you go through March, you have to have extra options. Any player can be shut down on a given night. Anybody can have a bad offensive night. When you have a second option to go to, it makes your team tougher. When you have a third option to go to, it makes your team tougher. If we defend and we keep running through our options, we have a great chance to keep progressing.
It makes it easier for us to score because the defense, they can't just worry about one person scoring. Now they have to guard 3 people. So that opens it up for everyone.
Jones has a very unique offensive skill set, able to attack a defense in a multitude of ways, an ability that has allowed her to become extremely tough to guard no matter where she is on the floor.
It's really good because, even if they're playing hard, nobody can stop a shot. So it's really good. Even though we have rebounders, the ball's going in, so, we just get back.
Well, there are people that are wide open shot makers, which she is. There are people that are tough shot takers and makers, which she is. There are people that can take it all the way to the rim, which she can do. There are people with a mid-range, which she has, and she has a 3-point shot. She has the total offensive package, which makes her very difficult to defend.
With Jones only in her sophomore season, the possibilities are endless for her.
Shoot, I just got to live long enough to see it. I think she has an opportunity to be an outstanding basketball player. And she's reaping the benefits of the fact that when she came here and started for us as a freshman, she learned a lot. And she got better and better and better. Now you're talking about a girl with probably 50 college basketball games with another 75 ahead of her. And she is playing outstanding basketball with another 2 full years to play. She's just going to continue to get better.
For Islanders Insider, I'm Teddy Medina. We'll be right back.
GoIslanders.com is your source for Texas A&M Corpus Christi athletics. From live stats to live video to all the latest news, GoIslanders.com has everything to keep you up to date on all the latest on your favorite Islanders team. On the road, the Islanders Front Row app brings you live stats, video, and news right on your mobile device. Check out Islanders schedules and statistics and learn more about the student athletes at the Island University. Get tickets, Islanders game day gear, and more by clicking your way to GoIslanders.com today. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we're going to talk some Islanders women's hoops with the head coach, Coach Royce Chadwick. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, Stephen.
Well, first, one game this past week for Islander women, and it was a victorious one against Sam Houston State in our homecoming weekend. Having last Thursday off, it kind of changed up your routine a little bit, positively, I assume. Like you have extra time to prepare for an opponent, while at the same time, the ladies have an opportunity to maybe get off their feet a little bit longer and get some rest.
Absolutely. It was a long January. We spent most of it on the road and in hotel rooms and eating fast food, and it's nice to be home. And if you can get back-to-back days off in late February, you'd be amazed at what that does to your team's energy and how it brings their legs back to form, and it just helps them get going. And we were able to do that last week, and schedule was certainly in our favor last week. And Sam Houston was playing a game on Thursday while we were resting, and a little unfair advantage once that Saturday rolls around. But we've had the flip side of that where we were playing all week and had to play somebody else, so we were glad to have it, and I thought it made a huge difference in the second half as we were able to pull away.
In the game against Sam Houston State, you definitely had a couple of big efforts on the night. First, of course, sophomore Cassie Jones went for a big 28 points in the game, a career high for her. She hit 3. She scored in transition. It was just a complete offensive performance. And what was great was you could see it in her eyes. She was playing with such confidence. She knew she was hot, and she wanted the ball.
Well, she's a prolific scorer. When Cassie was in high school, if she didn't get 30, her team didn't win. So she was a shot maker, a shot taker, and she had to get the shots off. And so it's taken her a while to adjust to the physical nature of the college game, but she's slowly starting to do that. You're talking about a sophomore. She was very aggressive. She wanted the basketball. She's had back-to-back really, really good games. So, what a great time to do it. End of February, getting ready to roll into March, and you're playing your best basketball. So we're very excited about where she sits with her individual game at this time of the year.
It's great to add that extra weapon, isn't it, at this time of year?
Absolutely, and she's been starting for us the last couple of games and really been, she's made Shea Weaver better because now you've got people on both sides of the floor that you have to worry about. It allowed Shea to get 16 rebounds in the game. So, it freed her up to go do some things that to add to our team and to the diversity that it brought our basketball team, I thought was huge.
Yeah, you mentioned Shea Weaver. 16 points can't go unnoticed as well. But it wasn't necessarily a super shooting night for her as far as percentages were concerned. But she still did get her 16. But those 16 rebounds on the night, season high, 4th double-double of the year. You've continually talked about her strength, in particular at the guard position. And this was definitely a direct result of that. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Shea is one of the strongest girls on our team. She's one of the most physical players that we have. She can shoot the 3. She's got a mid-range game. She can go all the way to the rim. She can offensive rebound, a very good defender. She has done that for us all year long, and it's nice to see some of our sophomores starting to pick up the pace and join her. But 16 points, 16 rebounds is a Herculean effort, and we needed every one of them. But, that's what keeps you playing in March. Every time you get an opportunity to play a game in March now, it takes a Herculean effort in some area. Maybe 5 players dove on the floor that night. Maybe you took 5 charges. I mean, it takes extra effort to continue to play, and it's nice to see her bringing that at exactly the right time of the year.
No doubt. With the positives, there's always a couple of items to pinpoint that could use some help, no doubt. Our bigs had their troubles on the evening. Our point guard ultimately was our second leading rebounder in the night. What happened with like Ashanti and Olivia and them? They really just could not get into the flow and even really get on the glass.
Well, the post players took them out. Sam's post players were very focused on taking our post players out. It was rough. It was physical. A lot of arms in the face, a lot of elbows, a lot of body contact, and it was a war down there. But what was going on was every time a shot would go up, their post players were clearing out the lane. And it opened up a gap a mile wide where a guard could just come right down the pipe, get a rebound. So our guards were able to take advantage of the fact that our post players were in fist fights and go in there and make something happen, and they did exactly that.
Well, what were your thoughts when the Bearcats went on a 19-0 run to end out the first half? I mean, I'm thinking that there's some confidence must be shaken at that time, and some people think it's like a tirade in the locker room to follow, but you told me that's not what happened. That's not how you approached it going into the locker room.
Well, we had 14 turnovers, and they weren't necessarily forced errors. It's just like in playing tennis and just hitting it in the net for no reason. Those were the turnovers we were making, and they were leading to points for Sam Houston. So we talked about at halftime, we got to cut these turnovers out, and fortunately for us, we were able to cut it down to I think 5 in the second half. But we were passing up good shots in the first half to go get a terrible shot, and we were dribbling the basketball way too much. So we backed both of those up, and I thought we were able to adjust. But my thoughts on that 19-0 run weren't pleasant. It was not a good time for us, and we weren't getting bad shots. But when we came down, we were just turning it over. If we got a good shot, we missed it. So nothing was really going good for us on the offensive end. And because we have not been a very mature team, when we shoot a bad shot or an air ball, we play bad defense. And you can't do that as a basketball player. You have to have a short-term memory.
Well, the two teams that you have left actually picked up wins against your program in their home gyms, Houston Baptist and Abilene Christian. These two teams in particular, ACU, found a way to kind of undermine what we were trying to do. What are we going to do differently against these two squads coming up?
Well, it's a weird combination because HBU is all about getting to the rim. And when you play Houston Baptist, you have to take charges. You have to be between them and the basket. You got to play team schemes. ACU is all about making threes. So we have to put in 2 separate game plans this week to play 2 different brands of defense. But you know, once again, we have an opportunity to do something special for our team. We're playing for seedings. It's March. These are the things that we talk about in August. When we get together in August, we talk about being good for March. And it is our opportunity to show what we've learned. So hopefully we'll be able to get this done. And we can't get them both if we don't get the first one. So we got to beat HBU on Thursday.
No doubt. Now, the Southland Conference Tournament is just around the corner. There are 5 teams that are vying for the number 3 spot in the standings: Nichols, Northwestern State, Central Arkansas, McNeese, and, of course, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I know that you're focused on what is ahead for us, and that is your attention, but have you glanced on what might be the toughest road for who? Who do you think might have the toughest go?
Well, everybody's got a game they're supposed to lose in that list, except for us. In my opinion, we have 2 home games against people that if we play our game, we should have our opportunities to be successful. Now, you know, we certainly can't turn it over 15 times and a half and beat either one of these people, but everybody else you mentioned has somebody that's ranked ahead of them, or they got to go on the road to a place that nobody wins. So, you know, if we don't take care of our business, it's all, you know, not relevant. So we got to take care of our business, and I think if we do, we'll like the outcome. But it's up to us. You know, our destiny, to me, is in our hands, so we just got to go get it done.
Coach, good luck.
All right, thanks, Stephen.
Royce Chadwick joining us once again here in the locker room. When we come back, we'll tell you what's up next for Islanders Athletics. Stay with us. More to come on Islanders Insider.
The Southland Conference is 4,200 student athletes from 13 member institutions, competing in 17 NCAA Division I sports. We are Southland Strong.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, let's bring you up to speed on what's next for Islanders Athletics. Thursday, March 5th, it's doubleheader basketball action at the American Bank Center starting at 5 o'clock as the Islander men and women take on Houston Baptist. It is also Educator Appreciation Night. On Saturday, March 7th, another doubleheader, Senior Day, starting at 1 o'clock at the American Bank Center as the men and women's teams face Abilene Christian. On Thursday, March 12th through Sunday, March 15th, it's the Southland Conference Tournament in Katy, Texas. For details and ticket information, you can visit GoIslanders.com. Islander baseball will be hitting the road in Ruston, Louisiana on March 6th through the 8th as they take on Louisiana Tech. And then on Monday, March 9th, a doubleheader on campus at Chapman Field starting 1 o'clock against Fisher College. Islanders softball will be heading on the road as well for Southland Conference action as they take on Central Arkansas in Conway, Arkansas. That's Friday, March 6th through Saturday the 7th. And then on Friday, March 13th to the 14th, it'll be the Islanders back at home at Chapman Field as they host Southland Conference foe, McNeese State. Islander men's tennis will be back on the courts on March 6th and 7th as they have the HEB Tournament of Champions here in Corpus Christi. Go to GoIslanders.com for full schedule information. Once again, we want to thank Royce Chadwick, head coach of Islander women's basketball, and head coach Willis Wilson of Islander men's basketball for joining us here once again in the locker room. And most importantly, as always, we thank you for tuning in. I'm Stephen King. You've been watching Islanders Insider.